Hey everybody, welcome to Drive Thru Review 481. Today we're going to take a look at Odin's Ravens, and this is the edition that's brand new from Osprey Games. This was, I believe, a Cosmos 2-player game way back when. It then had a Kickstarter, which had a lot of problems, but Osprey stepped in to bring the game out, and they've done a great job for sure with the production quality. I'll spoil at least that much right now. What the idea of the game is a 2-player game, and each player is one of Odin's Ravens, and you have this kind of course of cards that you're trying to play your own cards with and maneuver your Raven and try to be the first one kind of around the track, so to speak. And you've got also this deck of Loki cards, which are kind of tricky and have special actions that you can do to sort of cheat a little bit. So that's basically the gist of the game. Let's jump into how the game actually works. It's very simple, and then I'll tell you what I think of it. So here you can see just about everything you get in a game of Odin's Ravens. Now each player will get these nice cool looking wooden ravens here. These are pretty nice looking actually. So there's kind of a darker colored one, and then you have this sort of not colored wooden one here as well. And what you're trying to do is race down your kind of edge of the track here. So there should be 16 of these cards. I've kind of left some out to save space, but this white one here will he'll kind of cruise down here, then he'll loop back around, and then the first player to kind of get back to the starting place is going to be the winner. If however the start player was the player that made it back around to the end, the other player does get an extra turn to try to catch up, and then you're going to count the cards in hand to determine the winner. Now each player is going to have 2 decks here. You've got your flight cards here and then your Loki cards in each of the colors, and you're going to start off drawing a combination of 5 cards however you wish, and you can see these flight cards are going to match the different terrain that you can see there, and the art's really cool on these cards. You know, very nicely done, very smartly illustrated as well. So you're going to play these cards. These are going to help you move down the track, and then you've also got these Loki cards here, and these are going to give you one of 2 choices for these different special effects, which we'll talk about in a minute. But on your turn you can play as many cards as you wish. So for example, if we move over here, if the white player here had played these 2 cards out of their hand, they can first play the mountain here to move on to that space, and then this kind of canyon card here to move on to that space, and then maybe play a Loki card on top of that. At the end of your turn, you're always going to draw 3 cards. It could be from either deck. Now once you go through your land cards, you're going to reshuffle those, but once you have played a Loki card, it is out of the game for good. So these you want to be kind of judicious about how to use them. Now you do have also a hand limit of 7 cards, so you can't go above that. Now if you did get into a situation like this, let's say the dark colored bird was there, and if they played a land card like so and it matched the next bunch in a row, then they get to move through all of those until the end there. So you can try to set that up, and that's part of what these Loki cards can do. There's a variety of different special effects they can do to kind of rearrange the terrain here and also make it longer or shorter for yourself or your opponent. And the other thing you can actually do is if you play 2 flight cards of the same type here, it can count as any that. So I could play these 2 planes here to move up 1 space there. They kind of act as a wild. Now each player has the same Loki deck. There's 4 cards, and you get 2 copies of each of these cards here. And the game rules come with this nice little aid here inside the instruction book, so you can refer to these. But once you get the hang of it, you get the hang of it pretty good. So let's just go through what these do here. So this one here, you can move the Raven forward 1 space regardless of the type. The other one is you can move the Raven backwards 1 space. This one allows you to actually draw 2 extra cards during the course of your turn. The bottom side here will allow you to draw a land card from the land deck here, and you can actually put this along this side here. So if I did that and put that there, this would give this sort of bird a sort of an extra length of path that they have to go through. But you got to be careful, because if you're coming back around, you're going to have to go through that as well. So you got to keep that kind of stuff in mind in terms of when and where you play this card. This one here, you can see, will actually allow you to rotate a land card. So maybe you could do this here, and you can see then you've got 2 of the same in a row. And the other bottom part of this allows you to remove a land card, and then it will shorten the path for both sides in that case. And finally, this last one allows you to swap 2 land cards. So maybe I could take this one here and then swap it with this one back here, and you leave the rotation as it is like that. And finally, the last part of that allows you to slide one of these down. So it would actually make the distance shorter for this bird, whereas it would actually make this path change from the mountain region to the canyon region, like so, by moving it down. So that's what all the different looking actions do in the game. Okay, so that is Odin's Ravens. And this is a really light game, but it is actually pretty fun. I think there may be something different between this one and the original. This one looks much better than the original did. I really like the ornamentation on the cards and the illustrations, and even the wooden birds are really cool. I couldn't tell you what's different, but I haven't gone and looked it up, but I think there might be some slight tweaks and refinements to the design. This one plays really, really smoothly though. It is give you some kind of exploration for different tactics and stuff. Like I kind of alluded to the example of increasing the flight path. You know, so you have to kind of time that one a little bit. So maybe you kind of catch it on the way back around or something like that for the other player. And it can be some intricate kind of things that happen if you slide one of the pathways out and then extend it and stuff. The rules go into a pretty good job of explaining what happens there. There's a little bit of card counting and stuff because there's 5 of each of the different terrain cards. So timing when you do stuff in terms of like what your opponent has available to them can be a little bit of that until they go and reshuffle. Then, you know, it kind of resets everything. But it is really enjoyable. It's kind of just quick, very tactical, takes 30 minutes. You know, it's not super brain burny. There's a little bit of sort of consideration between like, okay, I'm going to play a bunch of cards, but then I don't really have any way to respond in case the terrain changes or anything. So there's kind of a balance between that, you know, kind of shooting your wad of cards, so to speak, and you know, then not having much to do and kind of having to draw back up and get your card count back up to a point where you can be reactive. So it's kind of cool, that kind of balance and stuff. And it looks really pretty on the table, especially this new edition. So that is Odin's Ravens. Definitely take a look at it. Thanks.